Hello and welcome to this walkthrough for An Absolute Living Hell Part 1. This was sort of one of the first that came together for Bloodsport. I'd had other kind of tracks that ended up on the album. I'd had them sort of done or half done or in some sort of form for a while, whereas this one was sort of the catalyst to making Bloodsport because it sounded so accidentally kind of like aggressive and gnarly because there's loads of distortion on it and there's loads of real dark atmosphere, and it sort of pulled everything together. And I thought, and this was sort of the one track where I thought like, okay, here we go, this is gonna be like the sort of centerpiece towards the next album. So yeah, it's pretty special in that kind of regard anyway. But yeah, so let's just dive into it. Okay, so here we go. First off, it's in a really weird BPM, 74.5. That's due to the drum machine I was using, but I'll come on to that in a bit. Kick off with just this SH101 just firing off like these little notes, which I really like stuff like this. So that was really kind of was a good like kind of foundation of the track, and I kind of built up around it. Bass as a bit of chorus, I think, on it, and it's just a really low note from my Yamaha reface. This was a sort of drum loop from a sample pack, which is... So there you go, that's how it should sound, and I kind of like messed around with it. But it was all stuff from the VCS3 synth. There was a whole folder dedicated to just these weird rhythms, and I thought, okay, if this is the sort of atmosphere I'm going for, I'm gonna need some like weird gnarly stuff. So that kind of fit really nicely. So I cut these little bits from the main drum machine and just swamped them in reverb because I didn't want the drum machine just to come in straight away. I wanted it to kind of like set the scene a little bit first, which is, I think, these do really well. I literally think that was me just like smashing my guitar strings, and I thought it sounded cool, so I just buried it in there. So this is the beat I made on a drum machine called a Korg Volca Beats. I just bought it to use live, and I was just messing around with it, so I thought like, I'm gonna jam it through all my pedals, through some distortion and through some delay, sounded like that, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm using this. This is amazing. Again, I kind of put a lot of like just weird atmospheres in this, just to kind of... So there you go. This is from that modular ambient sample pack that I've used like little bits of here and there. But so I used one pitch and then sort of like cut it in half and then pitched it up for the second half, just to give it a bit of, you know, a bit of atmosphere in the track. Same with this one, really. It's a really nice little phrase, but I couldn't really use much of it because it's sort of out of the atmosphere that I wanted to make, so I just cut like a little bit of it up and detuned it, and it fit really well, these two going like on and off throughout this like horrible, gritty kind of first half of the track. Worked really nicely. This is just like a little two notes on a synth kind of sample that I had. But again, it just gives it like a little dark undertone. And I really enjoyed this as well. Like, if you put loads of distortion, loads of reverb on like 808 samples and like slow it down, it sounds amazing. It sounds like proper like dirty and like Andy Stock style stuff, really gnarly. So it works really nicely with the stuff that I'd recorded from the drum machine through actual distortion. Listen to that, blimey. This was on an Ebo, I think. Yeah, it was. It was just a little figure I'd made on with the Ebo, just to again like up the ante as it goes into this second section of the track. I really wanted it to kind of explode in this second half. So the first half was like scene setting, and then the second half was more, you know, here it is, here's the groove, here's the dirt, you know, that kind of thing. This again was just like a little melodic kind of atmosphere thing that I sort of cut up, tuned it down a little bit, and just swamped it in reverb just to give it like a bit of flavour just as it reaches into that second section. Bam! So there you go, like everything comes in here. I think I got a bit lazy here. I could have just found a kick drum and just put it in with MIDI, but maybe I was on the fly, just wanted to drop in a sample. So there's the drum machine again. You can hear like the hiss and like all the stuff in the background. It sounds awful, but it really fits. A little kind of... That was the original bass line that I'd recorded, all in by hand as well. Like no MIDI here or, moving it or anything. But I kind of liked the way it moved and kind of lagged behind the kick. Of course I had to like hit some real gnarly guitar stuff. That's with the same distortion that's on the drum machine, and a bit of tremolo and a bit of obviously a lot of reverb and stuff, but it sounds super good. Like, and then the two guitars together just sound really nice. They kind of work off each other really well. It's the first time I've added like kind of distorted guitar that isn't like, being bowed or anything like that. So that, like playing a riff. So that was quite like nice to do. Something a bit different. It really fits with this like horrible nightmare of an atmosphere I'm trying to like put in this. And then it just kind of like one by one I just kind of pipped stuff off. I didn't want it to go on too long either, because like I'd spent quite a bit of time splitting it in two and having the first half being a scene setter and the second half wanting to be more of like a groove, but like sound quite nasty. And I can't keep that going for like 6 minutes or something. It would just be daft. So like it felt right to kind of knock it off there, which is like, just below 4 minutes. So it's not like a big, huge, long monster, because God knows there's enough of those in the Satan catalogue and on this one album anyway. So it's nice that it was just like a little, quite short, like little bite-sized punch, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. So yeah, there you go. That was it. It wasn't like, there's not a lot of stuff in it, and it's just kind of like dark atmospheres working off each other, and then a big kick and a big riff, and that's basically all it is. But yeah, so thank you for watching, and if you've got any more suggestions for tracks or walkthroughs or anything, let me know and I'll get to it. But yeah, cheers.